Okay.
6 p.m. October 23rd. Call the United for the third meeting. So Commissioner Fuller give us. But
Father God, we thank you so much for today and for the blessing that you give us each day. Father, we ask that you be with us tonight as we do our meeting, that all that we do will be acceptable to you and to the benefit of the citizens of Nassau County and to this board. Father, we ask a special blessing tonight on our attorney, Patrick Chelsea. Be with him and his family and sake of these trying times. Heal his father, be thou will, bring him back to good health. Father, we ask that you be with our leadership in this country. We need our leadership right now. We need them to make good decisions for us. Be with this board as we make our decisions. Be with our military men and women as they are in harm's way and hopefully keep them out. All these things we ask the master's name.
thank you. John Patrick was right. He's out of town. His father was in the hospital. He's very ill. So I appreciate his words. And we will also, Rosanna, if you would please, do the call.
Commissioner Cole, Commissioner Fullwood, Commissioner Nelson, Vice Chair Taylor, Chair Hill. Thank you.
Thanks for coming everyone. Thank you being in the full house and a long agenda. I think this is the first time I've mentioned overnight. So that's great. Thanks for being here. We have Commissioner-elect Scott Moore. We have City Commissioner Chip Ross, Bill Griffin, representing David Ritzy, Julia Roberts. We have Miranda Ravila, and I see Bob is here to and you also took a speaker card, thank you. And and Mr. Apple, I thank you for being here tonight. Great opportunities. And all right, so let's start out with public comment. These agenda items. And we'll take them in alphabetical order. So Orlando Eli is here to speak about the Tara and the herbs. Mr. Eva.
Good evening. So I've talked to a couple of commissioners, just as I've run into them on time. And one of the things I expressed before about the tariff and speaking to the folks at Savage. So from our industry perspective, I know the tug is changing hands at some point in time. You guys spoke to me about this also, but I wanted to address everybody. From our perspective, we need some semblance of a rate sheet. While it doesn't even come out of the tariff, from Port Authority side, we do need a rate sheet. And our clients, that they know what they're paying when we put it out vessels to the charters or the shippers or whomever's paying fees. Because we ran into this when the first was acquired, there wasn't a tariff, and customers refused to pay. And it put us in an awkward position because we used the tug, built the tug, there was no tariff, they refused to pay. Eventually that was resolved. But I'd rather not check through it again personally. As far as the hurricanes, I just wanted to thank everybody for, being something and being bothered by me. And I, want to make sure that we're always communicating about the weather, stuff like that. It's so impactful to our industry. But that's basically that. Zooming. I've got some ideas for trying to get some more business, and I'm working on those. And hopefully we'll increase the traffic in the community. That's it.
I appreciate you making some, I think the rest of the board does too. I think we're all curious, you know, how the conditions are affecting for your time, so, we can start off.
And sorry, one last thing, there will be an end of hurricane season wrap up, so I'll pass along that information, so, you know, it's held in a small room and it's usually a packed house, but it probably would behoove someone representing the Port Authority to come to that, and Savage will send somebody, but it's always good getting a direct, representation. It'll be after the season, so the season ends November 30th.
Do the hurricanes now that that's been.
No, they don't, because we get post-tropical cyclones. September 2nd, so, but yeah, they usually, probably about 10 days after the season's over, you'll, Al Sanker from National Weather Services, you guys put together a synopsis and then start talking about the next season, and they do a preseason meeting usually in April.
Okay,
I'll keep you guys posted.
good, yeah, thank you. Okay, next up, we have Scott Moore. You could just, state your name and address.
Sure. My name is Scott Moore. I'm the commissioner-elect for OPA, District 2, and I reside in I rise today to voice my support for Resolution 2024 R11 with some reservations. I think it's important that OPA clarify that it's more than just the port frontage. Section 2, paragraphs A and B go a long way to reestablishing this fact by direct funds received by OPA pursuant to the sale of the subject property are deposited in a separate account and may only be used to facilitate new growth. Paragraph C and E further clarify that the Port of Medina is part of OPA, but is not the only part. I don't generally support the sale of capital resources like land to fund, as envisioned, that drove the need for this revolution, without a clear idea of how the funds are going. And I absolutely don't support selling that to meet daily operating expenses. Capital resources are the tangible lifeblood of it. And once they're born, we have little opportunity to become the financial engine that Nassau County, that the Florida legislature envisioned in 1941. So while I support the resolution, I do not support the sale that's making it necessary. While I applaud Commissioner Taylor for proposing this resolution, and were I seated, I would vote for it, I do not support the premise that it's built. But as the saying goes, where you're at is where you're at. So I urge the commission to approve the resolution as read.
I just want to clarify, I didn't propose.
Oh, that's why your name on the second page.
So it's there for Bill chairwoman and myself as vice chair,
Okay,
but yeah, I didn't propose this resolution.
okay, my mistake.
It's just a signature, but
Okay. And this read.
Thank you.
Okay. Can I read the?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're tangentially related to each other. The Ocean Highway and Port Authority owns several additional properties within Nassau County, specifically in the city of Frontage Beach. While the OPA has resolved to sell one of the properties, which is part of the subject of resolution 2004 R11 to be debated tonight, the other properties are not subject to this process. Specifically, OPA owns the current customs house, a vacant waterfront parcel on Amelia Island on North Front Street, bounded on the south by Port Consolidated property, as well as another vacant property adjacent to the building. Except for the old customs house, these properties have sat vacant and unused, producing no revenue for OPA for years. Given the current financial difficulties that OPA finds itself in, I urge OPA to actively and aggressively seek public and business input on how to monetize the remaining capital resources.
Okay, next up is Commissioner Chip Ross.
name it the where the gloss of 210 and Third Street turned into the beach. Coming here for 10 years plus. This is probably the last meeting I'm going to attend. My term as city commission ends on 16th of November. My wife and I will be going on some new adventures. So it's unlikely I will. All right. As I think you're all well aware, I was sale. So I just wanted to thank, first of all, over those 10 years, OPA hired some extraordinary women who were your administrators. And although I had a great deal of differences with many of the court commissioners, those women were always fair, accommodating, pleasant, and did their job. And I just want to thank particularly currently and previously, and they all did an outstanding job. And I just want to commend them for that.
So can I just interrupt?
Sure.
Do you remember, is Joanne Gaithan, was she
Yeah.
first?
Oh, yeah,
Right, and then it was Barbara Virgin?
correct. They all did a wonderful job.
I just wanted to say that.
Thank you. I couldn't remember. You're younger than I. Four things I sort of thought were watersheds during those 10 years. The first one was when coal was going to be Kinder Morgan was trying to turn and the port into a coal transfer system. And I think that was an important goal. I think the final delineation of the port with a further expansion into the historic district has been a very positive thing for the community. Appreciate that. For a period of time, it was difficult getting public records. We entered into litigation, settles, and I would say that now it's quite easy to get public records, and I appreciate that has changed. And then finally, resolution of the being blue cities to put the rest in final. So I think those are four major things that occurred. The coal thing was what got into politics. Somebody knocked on my door and said, coal report. We sort of oblivious to everything prior. So anyhow, I just want to thank you and wish you well in the future.
I think it's appropriate because it isn't often that we hear positive remarks. Often when people come to speak, you may have areas of concern or negative feedback, but it's good to hear we're hearing stuff out rest in the last 10 years. And I appreciate the line of communication we have in the city in the time that you've been coming to the meetings, not always in agreement with what we had to sometimes hear, but there was always a line of communication, and I appreciate that consistent engagement. So thank you for that. All right. Next up on the agenda, we got our minutes. Did any of the other commissioners have any comments about what come? No. All right. So next up, we have approval of minutes for September 11th, 2024, and September 25th. They're in the packet. Everyone has changes. I would hear now, otherwise we can take motion to approve them together or something.
Yeah.
All right. Is that a motion?
Motion.
Do you have a second?
Second.
Motion second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries unanimous. Court attorney report, as I mentioned previously, Patrick is in Tampa. So we don't have him here to give us a report. There are a few items that are of a legal nature in the packet, and I spoke with Patrick earlier today. Did ask that we defer any legal discussion if we're discussing contracts, terms and agreements. He suggested that we defer until the next meeting. So next up is item 7C, report account. Here.
So you have the treasurer's report for the package. Obviously, this is the last month of the fiscal year, so September, so the fiscal year ends, so this would be the last month for this budget. Obviously, we're getting ready. For the last meeting, we may not have, but the auditors will be here for their on-site work, the second week of November. When they complete their field work, and then we'll receive the audit report sometime in January, February. It's finalized, sometime in January, February. So, but like I said, they'll be here on site. They may consult some of you, they may not, to do some questionnaires with you on fraud and things like that. So sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. It's up to them to decide who they want to talk to and things like that. Obviously, as always, I've told you always, if you want to talk to them, they're here. They'll be more than likely at all offices for most of the time. So if you want to schedule a time, usually I would say Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, depending on how fast they do their work and what they need to do, they may be gone by Thursday, definitely by Friday, they're gone. So, so again, if you're interested in that, like I said, that's where we're getting ready to, let's say we're preparing financials for them to, and all the information we need to provide for them when they come. So, that's what we're busy working on right now, finalizing. As I said, next month you'll see a new budget, the new fiscal year, and then new go on from there. Just so we made the pilot payment. So we received. I don't know if that's on the agenda for later on, but so the contract was signed with the pilot payment, right, for the agreement with the city. So we made the pilot payment for this year was made on October 1st, and then 60 days after the agreement, we made another $137,000 payment. So the money was received from the operator, and we made that payment due yesterday, and it was done the pay 22nd. Yeah, that was yesterday. And so the payment was done and was received by the city. So, and those obligations under that agreement should be done. Other than obviously what we talked about, the ongoing obligation, which I think is on the agenda, talking about the tariff adjustment too, so that we have the money, so that we make the next payment obviously is due October 1 of 2025. So the 50,000. So the last ARPA reimbursement has been submitted. And so obviously that we now are waiting for them to send us funds, so that should end. So the last ARPA, so $60,000 has been submitted for reimbursement for ARPA, and that will be the last of those funds. So obviously that's the service well over the last 3 years or so, and so obviously that's ending. So oh, and the last thing in your agenda, and we need to approve this. So obviously the CPI adjustment as per the contract. So as per the contract, each year, obviously we make a CPI adjustment. So obviously it's based on the consumer price index. You have all the tables behind this is the summary page, which shows the fee for the next year. Essentially, the contract year starts November 1, 2024 to 10/30/2025. It's the next contract year. And obviously the fixed fee is increased by the inflation factor each year. And so that's on the next page. It's the actual inflation factor and the increase. And also we've added so this is year 7 of the contract. And so in that year 7 starts also increases the tonnage fees and increases the maintenance fee. And so all those increases are there, and it's summarized on the first page for you. So we just need to, and obviously the next 2 pages, like I said, are the actual, all the numbers from the Bureau of Labor Statistics from the government showing the CPI over many years. So we just need a motion to accept this adjustment so that we can formally present it to the operator and
Second.
Sorry.
All right, so motion second to accept the CPI as published in the attached documentation. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, motion carried unanimous. I meant to put also there.
and that's it. That's all I have. So all right, so we'll obviously the new fees will kick in with the new budget, or sorry, November 1st. So it doesn't actually start with the budget year, start November 1st. the budget year starts October 1st. But,
And then we move into this next phase with a portion of the port operations actually coming to OPA. One of the things that Patrick and I discussed today was that it's a new phase of the agreement. And that we may need to, just get together to discuss what this, what the cadence of the payments. And he thought that maybe you and I and me could get together, if other commissioners, they want the concern, they want to express it directly.
Mhm.
And then perhaps have a meeting with someone from Nassau Terminals, just to discuss like the timing of payments and what the procedure.
and this is not, so obviously 8 years ago, you used to get regular payments from the operators. It's not new, but obviously a new operator. So yes, you need to define the procedure, the timing and all that stuff. And obviously the documentation we'll receive to back that up. That will, needs to be placed so that we can provide it to the auditor, how the payments are decided and stuff like that. Absolutely.
And any procedure would go back to the board, for approval.
Mhm.
So. Okay,
So that's all.
so is there, when you've done these calculations based on tonnage, what would the tonnage have to be for the payments to OPA to decline?
To what?
Like, is there any scenario where OPA would receive less than the ambulance 7 years?
No, just fixed fee. Right now, the only thing we're receiving is the fixed fee. And the fixed fee is, since the beginning of the contract, has been increased by inflation each year. So no, there's no chance of, this is all increases, obviously. So no, there's no chance of getting less. Obviously, the fixed fee is increased by inflation each year. So the fixed fee for next year is 314,000. And up from, I think it started at 270, I want to say 6 years ago. 250, 270. So
Yeah, that 8.2%, just, who would have ever
right, that 1 year. Yeah, exactly. But that's why it increases, because obviously directly is that. So
Okay. Any questions about calculations in the agenda from here or anything else you just discussed? No? Okay, that takes us, thank you, Peter. That takes us to the operators report. Right, you're right.
So the most update is just how consistent the volumes are. You see, we went back a year, we can see, months where we received one ship uh, and now we're seeing, consistently 4 to 5. Crimson's been a really good customer. They've been growing. This month should be the first voyage that they leave full or they fall. So, in my opinion, it's all that time. So they're looking for two voyages a month. So we'll see how that goes. But right now, there's a lot of demand for the voyage that they're offering right now, and their capacity to just about 5,000 tons. So full equals 5,000 tons. I think I mentioned before in previous meetings, we secured some off-site warehouse space to try to relieve congestion here. And it's worked, and we relieve congestion and we just gobble it back up, and we're back to being full. So we're entertaining customers now that don't have a storage. They can just put their products on the product that was covered organically. And so we could just put that in some of the art space. So we're looking at a lot of opportunities like that to continue growing and use the assets that are there. Any questions on this report?
Go ahead.
With the two recent hurricanes, Helene and Milton, can you talk about any potential loss of business from that, or was there any impacts with ships? No, there were, and there were some delays, but no, it could be in volumes discharged and continue on. But it's still, really just a very short term impact. And beyond that, nothing long term we can see.
It's good to see steel back on the charts. I'm not enough to say for you and operations, but it's nice to see, diversification.
Yeah. It's, getting more diversified. Some of the customers we're talking, or potential customers we're talking to now, have a even further diversified commodities and products. So it just keep going in the direction we think. Happy to give other updates too, if there are questions about it.
No, I did have a question about the hurricanes. And you said one of the updates from the harbor pilots that some of the vessels were, held offshore during high events. You said there's really no issues to report. We do have an opportunity to submit to FDOT for any hurricane related impacts. And I know some of the ports did have impacts where they, just had uneven flows of materials. So I think they had supplemental workers, they had, adjustments they had to make to scheduling. And so I think they submitted those impacts to the state and received reimbursement through governor's office. So we did have those impacts. That's it. I think you all have got a request through Kyle and Rosanna. So just make sure you look at that.
Let me check that with Kyle and just see if there's anything that gives a little more context. So it sounds like almost any impact could be quantified and submit or requested at least. So
Right.
let me check that in and see if we've got anything.
Yeah, I think they had state assistance because they had brought in additional fuel kits to one of the ports, and then another port, had some assistance from the I forget who they brought in, but they brought in like surgery workers to unload because they had to, bunch the ships up or something. So they had additional trucks or additional workers.
So potentially overtime, if we had to pay overtime to discharge ships that were coming in,
Sure.
ahead of the schedule for that. All right.
I mean, I don't know if it would be approved, but I think they want to try.
So that's, yeah. Okay, let's check and see what we can gather. Is there a deadline on that?
It was already submitted. It was due yesterday at noon, and Mr. Clark submitted one, and I'll forward the spreadsheet to you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Rosanna.
Mhm.
Okay, any other questions about tonnage? Okay, anyone else to report from the board?
I'm sorry. You say for
From the board?
oh. Yeah, I sent an email Monday night about the tug funding and had I would assume everybody saw the email.
So today,
Okay, today. Oh, so it was a little bit later than one day. It was I had made the decision to try to consolidate it with some training funding that we were seeking. And thought that was beneficial enough to try to get it accelerated, given the training status over the last few months. But today, I think we need to we'll have to delay that and try to fund and close on the tug immediately. So, that's the update is we're going to, I think we have a pathway to disconnect the crane funding. It'll end up delaying that, but it'll end up accelerating the funding of the tug. And I think we could, or to the wire, describe it. So big difference from November, but we'll just work on crane funding and get it as we can. But it would be delayed. I haven't given any updates on the grant funding, but we think that in the next few months, so probably 4 to 6 months, there are probably $2 million worth of refurbishments that this trains need. And so we're working towards getting that money and doing those repairs to get them to get them to be reliable.
Are they operational right now?
I think that 2 of them are. And I can't remember if it's 9 or 10, but one of the entry trains is still not. And so this would get them operational and fix a lot of those controls issues. That we just,
Still, I'm sorry, still electrical problems.
yeah, controls.
According to the report that I was sent, the only train that's operational is Mobile. That's the one that they'll be using on the Sunbelt.
That's Tuesday.
Okay. Yes,
Okay. So I guess the question is, can you work with us to communicate to Meredith that we'll be looking to fund or wire funds Friday rather than Monday?
Okay, so it's Friday, so it was due on Monday,
Yeah.
and we're now 5 days late with the delivery of the $1 million express. You received, or you, I think you all received the email today, or Cindy and I received it. It's 18th. It went to Rosanna and Patrick, it was addressed to the commissioners, and none of us received it. So, I don't know if you've had a chance to read that email, but
Just for answering, this is a little straight question. I was very question that email stores can have copies of the entire commission. Am I doing that incorrectly? That was the best you can do that.
she can send them out, but I usually would, I mean, I ask people if you want Rosanna to disseminate something to tell her.
Okay.
But she gets so many emails that it was directed to us, so she might have thought we were copied. Else.
Yeah, that's what we, exactly.
Okay.
I see.
Um,
But sending it to Rosanna just with that instruction is the best way to get it.
Yes. And I think there's also a commissioners that court for you that was the third one, the secretary.
Mm.
So instead,
Just, me. And then,
yeah, so Patrick did suggest that we just document that this is not in compliance with the original agreement. I'd be interested to hear what Ken Ford's concern is about the additional delay. I think that Meredith should be reasonable.
we've had this discussion
All agree.
at the last meeting. It was discussed, rather than to rush this through. Patrick even agreed that we could have got additional time from Marion. I promise you, they won't come here and repossess that token. Okay, I promise you that. But to sit here and over the last 3 months or so, be pushed and prodded, toyed with on the sale of this token, stall tactics were used. And the date that was given to close on this tugboat was given by October 21st by the operator. And then at the last minute, you're asking us to believe that we can expect that money on Friday. Personally, I don't. When you breach your contract, normally what happens is you delete that contract and you refrain from going any further. I don't see that being outside of the remedy. There's been a lot of talk about this stuff, but my personal opinion is because there is a breach of contract here. I was pushed to hurry up and sign some documents. And all to come to find out that the money's not there. For whatever reason. Personally, I think that we should back out to just terminate the PSA. We put the tugboat on the open market. We then go back and address the revenue from 2022. And I know I already see some head shaking, but good business is good business. And you don't go along with bad business just to get it off the table. So that's my stand. I have no faith there will be any monies coming on Friday because it's supposed to be here and this was supposed to be taken here on Monday. So that's my point.
I forgot to mention that in the email, we did, and our, first of all, we won't keep cash on hand. There's a cash balance that gets distributed. So any capital expenditure requires a capital call. And, our financial partner, like Richard Infrastructure, it is also has assets in Florida, a lot of them. And so the hurricane did redirect a lot of our focus. And Savage also has a lot of assets in Florida. So there was a delay because of that. Just in focus and what we had to take care of, what they had to take care of, and slow the process down. That's it.
I mean, if we had discussed this last week and then there was a problem getting the money for Monday, I could probably sit here and go, probably some reason to that, but not 3 months. I mean, there was a vote taken 2 meetings ago to sell the company.
3 months, say 3 months.
Yeah, it's been talked about for at least the last 3 months on getting this thing out of here. I know the meeting before last, or the 2 meetings ago, that there was a vote taken 3-2 to sell you the towboat. So you knew then you had the towboat. You had plenty of ample time to get the $1 million. Now we're here 2 days past when we were supposed to seal the deal. And we're being told, oh, that you will have the money on Friday. How do we know that's going to happen? You don't.
This is a bit concerning. We've been working on trying to show the tug or market the tug or, resolve the issue with MARAD for at least 6 months. I think MARAD raised the issue no longer than that ago. And we negotiated an agreement which someone signed on behalf of Nassau Terminals, who I'm questioning whether or not they were authorized to do so because there was no capacity to close. Because you just said there's no capacity to close, it requires capital call.
That doesn't address our capacity.
Also, if you don't keep
spend.
cash, you'll see it.
Yeah. Yeah, we don't keep cash in them. We do capital calls for capital expenditures. That's just standard.
We got an email through years ago, it was after the time that expired. Your email on the day was after the 9 o'clock at night. Okay. So, Patrick did suggest that we formally document that the PSA is in default. And that doesn't mean we have to throw out PSA, but he said that we do need to just notify the operator that the time for performance has passed and that they did not deliver the payment. And then if they did deliver the payment, then we would have a choice of whether to honor the agreement or have a new agreement negotiation. So we don't know until Friday, things will go as well.
Now, let me just say this, that October 21st date
That was the
was
date.
not.
That's it.
Yes.
And I'll disagree. I think the communication was pretty poor with this. I think one of my arguments with selling this was, we had a deadline. We had to get this taken care of. The last fiscal year, so before October 1st. And so it's concerning. We get the email on Monday the 21st, and it was due that evening saying we can't have it until the 11th. And I panicked, and just as I was reading this email, Patrick called me about it. We discussed it, and I put in a phone call and I called Davis to try to figure out what's going on because it was very frustrating. I'm glad to know that now it's been expedited to Friday, But it's still, yeah, I agree, it's past that time, it's past the deadline. But we need to have better communication, not just regarding this, I think just everything moving forward, in order for us to succeed and really have a stronger relationship. Um, pulling the agreement, we were told, I think it was, at the last meeting, when we did vote on it, that the appraised value that came in was 350, 375, but we owe $1 million. So what I'm thinking about, we would still have to, we sell for that, we sell for 500,000, we still need to come up with the additional money to pay Merit back. This is our opportunity. And so I'm tweeting, right, we've got to have better communication moving forward, because, again, this is something, if the email would have gone out last week, I don't know, there's emergency meeting or something, at least we would have known, and been able to handle it accordingly and go back to there prior to the deadline, prior to the time, and work it out. But now it just puts us at a really tough spot.
Yeah, actually, I just want to point out that the evaluation was provided by Nassau Terminals, that we haven't actually marketed the tug, which would be the best way to know the value of the tug. And then we initiated this discussion. Greg said on the record that tugs had appreciated the value, and that the tug had likely appreciated since its acquisition. So I don't put a lot of credence into a $300,000 value, just go over for that. Okay, so do we want to give the operator the additional time until the 11th, till this Friday? If they don't need that, then we go back to the table. You agree with me? Or
Are you sure it's gonna be Friday? It was on November the 11th.
Maybe.
That's.
Maybe we-
Running, but we've got work done on this. We've got to look it up and put together on this. And, I'm. Every year it was supposed to be happening on my junior, should have bunch of you, they're saying, I'll do it. And you want to do it by Friday? Hey, I'm working with you, let's do it, keep it going. But now if something falls through and they can't pick it, then okay, let's look at being in the fall. We can say. It's really true. It's always this board that has to go there at and make these stories. You shoot them, well, there's a problem. Well, this is that we need more time. And you heard our attorney say that he had no problem going to them and talking to them about an extension. In business, you don't tell somebody you want to have their money by the end of the month, and then you start increasing it by 2-week intervals. That's bad business. Number one, they're not going to believe anything you say. So do we want to put ourselves in that situation with Marion? I don't think so. I wouldn't be the person to go to them and tell them, by the way, it wasn't the 11th, it was the 21st, now it's going to be, this time to try.
So I'm hearing agreement that there needs to be formal recognition that there was an event involved. But what is the board's will as for an extension? How much?
Chair, I move that we give the operator until the 25th, which is Friday, to make the payment. If it's not paid by Friday, and put it back on the market.
Would you, amend that, are you going to amend that if Mayor agrees? Again, the extension, because we don't know what they will.
What choice they do that? Oh, they got good chances. What if they don't do an extension? What are we gonna do? Fail? Well, sure, we can add. All right, if the agrees.
Sorry, quickly, you mentioned, yes, it's 25th, and if it's not made by then, put it out to market. You mean we're gonna start marketing, we're gonna start marketing the tug for sale, or we're gonna issue the letter of default, notice of default?
You're in default now.
Correct, but doing a formal letter of default.
If I issue a letter of motion would be to give them until Friday the 25th. Otherwise, we can issue a letter of default, put it on market. And with permission.
I don't think Marriott's gonna have a problem. They even said this.
Do I have a second? Do I have a second? Any seconds? Would you like to? Is anyone going to second that or keep going? motion fails to off second. Okay, continue talking.
So I don't think she can issue a default, letter of default, but you can't just outright cancel the contract. You have to give them a opportunity to cure the default. I'm not a lawyer,
Let's say doesn't provide for a cure period. I agree, yeah.
so.
Okay. So, back to our discussion on Friday.
So I wanna. I just wasn't thrilled, the motion is what threw me off, but so. I think give it till Friday. Close business on Friday. If not, then we issue the letter, the formal letter, of default. And then we move from there, not directly, then go start marketing.
No,
The,
no.
inside. The
I
process
just
there.
decide that and next meeting.
Correct, correct.
Okay, so you're saying for Friday?
For Friday, so yes, for Friday.
Okay, do you want to make that motion?
Yes, motion to, give the operator until Friday. Fund wired, by end of business, if not, then we will send what do we throw this, a notice of, default, letter, notice of default for December.
Second,
Okay, so the motion is that we will um, we will wait until Friday, and if the funds are not received, but then we will provide a formal notice that we're terminating the agreement due to default and we're marketing. Is that correct?
Well, when we marking out, right, next week, we just, we put them on notice, then it's gotta come back to us.
To take action?
Take action.
Okay, is that for second? Okay, we have a motion in second, so now we can discuss.
Why do we have to give them a notice of anything? They know good and well that they're in default. We have no assurance, as this board sits here, that that money is gonna be available to us on Friday. I don't know about you, but I got correspondence saying the next time that they would probably have the money to be November the 11th. Now we're here on October 25th. Anybody want to pick a date?
But then you say to do that, if they're doing both the tugboat and the crane financing, it's gonna take that much longer time to the crane. So that's where you're saying, we pull that out, it'll take longer on the crane.
this has
We
nothing,
can do this.
right,
Correct. I get, but if we, again, we market it and it comes back, I don't care, it comes back, it's $900,000 if it's up, or we still owe $1 million. We owe another.
You're also forgetting the finance.
The tug itself was only less than.
This board has voted to sell, and we made an agreement with them. It's a little, all only times money's come in, but I'm still going to work. If it came to be that it was Monday morning, still, instead of Friday afternoon, that's okay with me. I don't see a problem. I don't think, like you said, we're here, trying to here and get it done. So we're working on it. We're working together. This is an agreement, this part of it that we're giving. If he cents, we say it. So we're trying to make it fun. No, that's not necessarily the case. The case is, we were told that they were going to close by their twisted day. The money's not available, it's not there. Now, we've been told the 11th, now we're told the October 25th. The way I see it, are we being told the straight story? I don't know, but I can tell you this, when you breach a contract, you breach a contract. Period. Because it's good business or it's bad business, and this is bad business.
I just wanted to restate too and clarify, when you catered amendment, was it subject to the approval?
Yes.
Okay, we move second, okay, and going back through the minutes from the different meetings, discussions about revenue share, and I came to meetings for long with some of the board members. And so I know the discussions where this board said we were going to work with the operator, we'd like shared revenue, the prior operator said that they would work with us on a shared revenue, and then the other thing, and I do feel that in the course of discussions about revenue, that it has been a bit inconsistent. The information we've been able to receive, but initially we were told that revenues were not segregated by asset, but then as the discussion evolved, it became clear that we were at a disadvantage because, Greg, you did appear to have a good handle on what the revenue and costs associated with that was, but you just weren't quite should have. And so I wish that I could be as decisive and trusting as Commissioner Cole is. I admire that perspective. But I really struggle because every time we are decisive and we express a sense of team spirit with the operator, that we seem to get the rug pulled out from underneath us. And so I'm just disappointed. You've driven this whole process and you pressured the board to close quickly, given this timeline, and now, here we are. So I think that Friday is a fair response. I think that's a short response. I think it's stringent. If you don't deliver the funds by Friday, then and the date being again, which Friday?
This Friday, October 20th.
So not day after tomorrow.
Yeah.
No, day after.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think that's a stringent response. I think that is a stringent response, but it is when you said you would be able to deliver the funds. So, I supported this motion. And if the funds are out there on Friday, then I guess we'll figure it out from there.
And that's what you told us when we came in, it's 20
Yeah, things are in motion, but yeah, things are in motion to. But yeah, it just added a little bit of color to it. When you have a joint venture and you call capital, you have to get board members from different companies to submit legal documents. And that can sometimes take a while. And so it's not a question of the fund exists, it's a question of how fast we push things legal. Given hurricane delays, given that, what's happened over the last 4 weeks. That's what it is.
Well, I suspect you better tell them you got till Friday, we don't have to tell them.
That's right.
Okay, so we have a motion in a second. Okay, vote. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
So Commissioner Lowell was that a no? Or Commissioner Nelson is also no.
So 3-2.
Motion carries. Okay, so next up is old business. This is the Bobo property sale. We were supposed to receive leasing options. And I also see a resolution with attached agenda. I think that was Commissioner Foley on the extra resolution.
First, I have a question about, having the property signed to a realtor, which we have an agreement. We got
So my preference would be to defer this item until we have our legal counsel with us. I didn't know that he was not going to be here tonight until today. It sounds like there is an appetite to review this with the new board. And so I don't think it would kill this initiative to defer it until after this year, but that would be my preference.
Madam Chair. This is my last meeting. This is my last meeting. I want to get this done well. Now I thought Patrick today, he's comfortable with the resolution. We got all the things in the resolution that the citizens were asking for, or we were asking for. And I don't see the reason to keep putting this off. We have put this off and put it off. So I know what you're doing. You're trying to get a new board in here, go back and vote against this. But we passed this resolution. And we've got a good agreement here. We've got the deed restrictions that we need, and we've got everything in here that we wanted to add in. And I'm going to make a motion that accept this resolution and give this to, our realtor to do his thing to sell his property.
So I have a motion, regarding to accept resolution 2024 R11 without modification. Do I have this?
I said it. In 2024, R11 is the one that's in our notes. That's pretty good. And, okay.
Let's hear some discussion.
So again, voting on something with a contract and our attorney's not here, which really doesn't like a good practice. We have a new commissioner coming on board. Who at one point said he doesn't, wish to sell public lands. And so I want to line 11, additional termination. So I'm going to sign a withdrawal agreement, reimburse broker for all direct expenses incurred in marketing property. The cancellation fee of $1,000 plus local sales tax. So if this is approved, and then the board, the new commissioner comes on board, and then we vote to cancel this agreement, we now owe $1,000.
Well, why would we vote against?
If you did, if the new commissioner comes on board, bring it back up, if the commissioner cancels out this agreement. We could.
Then the new commissioner, and you guys should pay for it. If you go against what we've already done,
Yeah. And then, paragraph 10, I don't think we can list the buyer's mission in the listing agreement, because that law changed since this was passed. So I think actually
say that again.
paragraph 10, where it's like reestablishing the commission split, I think that was invalidated by that Supreme Court decision, but I thought that this was going to be updated. It would have to be contractually like negotiated with any prospective buyer. We can't in advance determine the fee split, is my understanding. So this would have to be updated.
When I talked to Patrick today, he said everything was said in this resolution, there were no changes to be made, he made every change that he asked him. So I
Well, when I talked, it was said to defer it for the next meeting, so I don't know what conversation you had with Patrick, but I know how that got. Okay, so I mean, I know that he prepared a resolution for you prior to her. Yeah, I know
you asked him,
Commissioner. I know that he prepared this before the last meeting, right? So this was already attached to the agenda, everybody's seen it, right? But he's not here tonight. So that's why we're requesting him to defer it. It sounds like there's support for it. And I mean, frankly, the commissioners that are on this board for the next 4 years are going to have to deal with the consequences of this decision. And so it's a big decision to sell land. It's public land.
there we go again.
It's public land. And until we listed, we aren't on the hook to sell it.
Right.
The $1,000 that we would have to pay would have to come out of our budget. So I think it's disingenuous for a board member to propose this at their last meeting, leave the future board with that decision.
We've got much more for a call, okay.
Is there any further discussion from the board? Commissioner Nelson?
I second the motion and then to. Okay.
Okay, I don't have anything else. All right, all those in favor say aye. All those opposed, now this is to adopt this, say resolution. Are you an aye, Commissioner Nelson?
I'm not,
Oh, okay.
3-2.
I'm a no. Okay.
And that's for,
questions?
Yeah, I can address that for you if you like, as far as the commission goes. The only thing the settlement with National Association of Realtors did was that we can't publicize what we pay a buyer for. But the rest of it's all still the same. You have the listing side and a buyer agent side, and so listing agreements determine with the seller whether they're willing to pay a cooperative fee to a buyer or not. But
Just can't be published.
we just can't publish it in the multiple listing service or put it online. That'd be like this.
Okay.
Okay, but anyway, thank you very much and have a good evening.
Thank you.
Thank you. So, resolution problems, next item up is the CDP facility project update. And I think this is for me, unless you had any readings on that.
About the next resolution, it's what we're gonna do with the money for the sale part.
The resolutions in your packet passed.
That was to sell. We have, you kept asking, what are we gonna do with the money? And I told you I'd come up with a plan to do it. And it's in there, the resolution. Roseanne, you got that one?
And that's what you voted on just now.
2024, well,
That's what we just voted on.
That's what you voted on just now.
so you combine them two.
No, we voted on resolution 2024 article. That's what you voted on.
Okay. All right, so
So the next item is the CDP facility project update, and I did speak with Tammy Gibbons. Did you have anything with CDP about the project? So, I spoke with Tammy Gibbons about the customs house facility and being eligible for grant funding. She pointed out that we really do not need to change, and I think we discussed this last meeting, so it's really the same thing we discussed, but we're not changing our selection of choices because option D included renovation of the warehouse and house. Their biggest concern is that all the requirements of customs, those would continue to be approved and everything we're going to vote on stays the same. She said they don't see this as being a change. They see it as clarifying and they were in agreement. So it's not, no effect or impact.
yeah, she went, I'm sorry, she called me, she was worried, changing. The design when we chose, and I told her no, that's not what we would do with it. You wanted to include the old customs house in with that product. I guess she could, okay.
Right. And I think Rosanna just misunderstood that we were
Yes.
switching. She immediately emailed back and said, it's misunderstanding. Okay. Next up on the agenda is.
That's, I'm sorry, hopefully you'll hear about that grant by December maybe. You think?
Yeah, what was the last thing to this?
I'm sorry, one more time.
It was on that grant for the
Oh,
CDB building.
the CSIP.
Yeah, I think the last sentence was recent.
That's the last I heard.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Okay, do we need to take any action to help move that forward or? We're gonna start this with you. This is for the FDOT grant for the customs, this is just.
I don't think there's anything we can do. We're just confirming it is just getting a big mess. So. No.
We need to hear if we're going to receive a grant for the construction of the CBP facility. I have not heard anything from FSTED or FDOT.
Well, and we have on 9, need to be able to generate engineer retainer for future projects. Are here. I think that will go a long way. To all of our projects to have, engineering already retained and ready to do work if we need to use them. I know you have in-house, engineers selected. And I know you already have in-house engineers, but who would be our contact person for the RFQ? Or request for bids, I'm not sure which one would be.
All also you like who from our team, the operator. This is Patrick Marler. And Joel Demick was originally, but now it's Patrick Marler.
Okay.
And
they are,
I'll send you his contact info
okay.
and to the okay.
So for the CDP and for those items, I think it would be helpful to have some that we can work with just to receive the drafts, and that way we can have Rosanna send them to Patrick for any comment prior to the meeting. To make sure that they conform to what we've done before, and I thought Epstead was going to give us examples of those requests for bids.
I haven't received it.
Okay, and maybe I could probably do some research out there on the bid platform, color bid platform. Okay. Sorry for jumping around the agenda here. So CVP facility, that was AB8C is the communications plan, social media. I saw that there is a description attached to the agenda.
Yes, I have the agenda. Really, I think it's something that we need to maybe do a better job of. Really, the relationship between OPA and the public, and just kind of getting a lot of that information out outside of the local news media. So someone that, whether it's social media, newsletters, really just kind of creating a community strategy, public engagement, things along those lines. Outside of just us doing it, we're out there putting information out, we're putting it out ourselves. We're doing a free through vote, putting this information out. It's going to be outside right? But having something to really get those facts out. I had mentioned before to Rosanna, about Rosanna doing some of this. I knew at our last meeting when this came up, Patrick had suggested to do something at UNF. There may be a student intern. I know he's not here, so I think we can maybe sit on this till the next meeting and then bring it back up with him. Maybe he has some ideas from golf that can really help out. Or we can reach out to FSCJ here, Tickers of the One, to look at the internship program, the sub enrolling, and then maybe ultimately even turn it over to Rosanna through the, like I said, the social media newsletter thing, or the two low-hanging fruit that kind of get going.
So for an internship, are you going to like a paid internship or something like through the school where they would take credit?
No, but so yeah, pretty neat.
All right. Well, so yeah, we definitely need to talk with like FSCJ or UNLJU. So we could maybe potentially post this on the Chamber's website. They take job postings and we could post it on the website. Well, depending on what their capabilities are, maybe we may need to provide some sort of budget, but I think it's back the budget here too. Have a list and show you good. Okay. But yes, I think that's really, I think having this is some support for Rosanna and that big website and maybe take some of the content off the solar and not so your own. She spends a lot of time managing. So takeaways for you, for me, both of us, Patrick. We got it. Next up, we have, let's see, new business. Let's see the operating agreement for operator remittance. We did talk about that already, that we were going to be getting together here to discuss that. Anything that comes out of the meeting will come back to the board. The tariff adjustment, we requested a red line version of the proposed tariff. What's the comments?
Happens changes to something happening. It isn't a red light agreement, it's essentially a summary of changes. So the agreement that requested actually revenue. But it's the same, just that suggested that it's funding or infrastructure to cover system.
Okay. And with that, would you have an impact statement like this? So like what the impact would be in some of our long-standing customers? Just so you know, or can we discuss that? No.
Yeah, once you take a look at it, let's discuss it.
I would like to have this published for at least 30 days so that we get feedback from our clients, right? Our regular customers.
Because we've been, just over, knowing that structure is coming, but all of it's going out for the past 6 months. I can't remember exactly. So that I had included that, so there are going to be no surprises as to the queue. Is that the one piece you're referring to?
So that they haven't been charged with fee, or are they just giving notice that it's.
I think you're good. I can't think.
I mean, the notice are all like, most customers are not actually paying the tariff rates, it's negotiated rates.
Negotiated rates.
Okay. And then the Pure Improvements Project. That's 9C, request for bids, we were supposed to get the draft.
Well, FDOT asked for a request for bids for that grant. I don't even know what project is assigned to that grant, G2437. Do you have any idea, Mr. Hance?
Yeah, I think that's first. I haven't looked at that.
Yes. So, but we need to put out a request for bids. And I need to submit that into CSIP.
See where that works.
So it sounds like we have several items that have kind of pushed, also with the hurricanes, not having a meeting, and that's kind of a tickler for everyone to remember what we're waiting on for FDOT. If we need to have an additional meeting, to approve anything to meet FDOT deadlines, just let me know. Make sure that we don't miss anything here. But do you think these are going to expire?
Well, they,
Normally so.
yeah, they don't have it. Well, the grant will expire. One moment, please. Let me check.
Because we only have one meeting this month.
Right.
Usually they don't want January.
Let me confirm the deadline for that particular grant.
And then we've already talked about the engineer retainer.
That expires March 31st, 2026.
Okay.
And we have a little less than 200K.
So that if we haven't put out this bid, that takes, time to receive that RFP, approve it, publish it. Then, award, right, so that's. 6 months. And then you have to actually do the work, so,
The, I don't know if you could take that on board. Sure.
So these two are kind of similar, so it's the. Engineer retainer, if you're actually it's 3, and then the customs CVP, so those 3 items are all like engineering and facilities. Where we need like a deliverable, the swimming pool, that, so we keep your engineering for the. Done this, we like.
We don't have to do so.
Yeah.
It's on engineering.
Right.
Yeah.
Just snap on that. Well, I'm happy to come, follow up. I move house if we need to set something just to get together and make sure we get the right documents. We have it. Right. 9E, the Apple tax extension. So, Over remitted to the city are payment and road taxes, and that settlement agreement is attached to the agenda. Okay, I just wanted to flag this for the board so that you are all aware that the terms of the, per the terms of the settlement agreement, that OPA does not owe this pilot payment if OPA becomes subject to tax. That's in section. One, or section 3 terms, paragraph 1. That the Port Authority will be under no obligation to continue with annual pilot payments, $50,000 to the city of the event itself. The Port Authority is not exempt from making out property tax payments. So you can argue about what it means to be found that the Port Authority is not exempt. Doesn't say by judge. The property appraiser thinks we're not exempt. And we did receive a another denial exemption from the property appraiser. So if that is successful, if the property appraiser is successful in his position that we are not exempt from those payments to be back. We pay the city a payment of no taxes, and on the other hand, the property appraiser bonus that we are not taxing.
So this is still under litigation, correct? And
Yes,
Still, I'm sorry, Ron.
it's with the Supreme Court law.
okay. Yeah,
It's not under it's under litigation. It's been argued in front of the Supreme Court what South Florida is doing, and that was basically so from property right here. They thought that what they did down there was the same as what we're trying to do here. So people down there are sued, and it's gone before the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court heard that argument about a year and a half ago. We had
and
so I went on that note.
so I'm not the understanding. It's justice. Right. So we can sell it. Okay.
Uh,
I mean, I don't want to go into the merits of our argument. I'm just saying that we did receive that notice from the property appraiser, and the property appraiser follows the statutory process. So they, they deliver notices, they issue tax certificates unless the taxes are paid. And so we have paid the city, so we are not in violation of our settlement agreement. I just want you to be aware. So I guess we'll defer to hear Patrick's opinion about the meeting. All right. Those are all the action items we board. I wanted to thank you all for this is Commissioner Coleman's last meeting, and it's been a pleasure having the time to learn from someone who has served on the board for 16 years. And that's a rare opportunity to be able to get the history of someone who was actually here. Events in different time periods, different operators, different lawyers. And thank you for your service, not only for our country, but to our county, to this board. And wish you a relaxing chapter with your next weeks. So that's it for the action items for the board. We do have committee reports. Okay. Anybody? Let's start here with committee reports. Always fun. First up, port security, Commissioner Nelson.
Monday, we finished up going through and revising the code for allied security at the port. I have them with me tonight. I will turn them over to Lana because Patrick said he wanted to look through them. Once this is done, I need them back because then I will contact the general manager of Allied, have his staff, because it's gonna be very time consuming to go through, because there were complete pages taken out of it. They don't pertain to the report anymore. So we did narrow them down. They were right at 100 pages. So once we get these back, then we will give each one of the commissioners a copy of them. And there will be a copy that's at the security office. So Savage Services had their go at it. They made some recommendations. That's all been taken into consideration, and what they asked for, we complied with that. So both sides have agreed to this. So we're going to go ahead and move forward to get them posted and the revision done. So while I was out there at the court, everything seemed to be in order as far as the security goes. There was no issue with any of the employees. So that was a good thing. There is one thing that I want to discuss, and I'm gonna hold this right here for just a minute because it came to me yesterday. And I'm a little bit taken back by this whole scenario. Right after I retired and left, there was a readdressing of the court gate laws and how they would be handled. When I was there, it was hard copy paper. There was the daily log kept going, pretty much everything, every activity that was going on at the court. And at the end of the month, it was turned over to me as the FSO, and they were filed. Well, on my departure, that was all changed. Savage Services said they didn't want to deal with the paper. They weren't going to pick them up. They didn't want the storage hassle. So they moved toward papers. They were going to do it computer and store it in the system. Well, when the Savage's IT department was approached, they said it's not their their responsibility, and they weren't going to do it. So in order to keep it moving forward and to meet their requirement, there was an account open by one of the security employees to write this program and to store these daily logs in the cloud. Well, there's been several conversations with court management about, are you going to take this account over since we've been using it almost 2 years? Would somebody please take this monthly fee and pay it so I don't have to in order to maintain it? Now, my question to that question was, why have you been paying this account for 2 years? He says, in order to protect the customer, which is sad. He said that if they terminate this account, nearly 2 years of security log will be lost. So my question tonight to you, Greg, is this. I need you to look into this to find out what the deal is. This man has invested $552 of his own money.
Who is it?
It's the site supervisor there at work.
From the security?
Yeah, from security. They wrote the program. The program has been used. It is well liked by the terminal operator. It serves a great purpose every day, every 5 minutes, updated, and they're sent to the cloud for storage. So I will hope that, even as early as just a couple months ago, another address to management was, can you do something with this? Can you have your IT people take it over so I can close this account out? And to no avail. The answer for both of the inquiries on were, yeah, sure, we'll look into it, we'll get back to you. Well, I need somebody to get with this man ASAP, because I committed to him tonight after this meeting, based on what I felt like would take place. either to have him cut the contract on this storage and just call the people, tell them, hey, I'm closing the account. It's gonna be your loss. You're gonna lose over right at 2 years of loss. And I can tell you, during my tenure out there, there were several times that I got subpoenas on gate laws. We want to know when these people were in there, when they left. So I will highly recommend, those are very valuable pieces of information that you don't want to be without. Because anybody could complain that there was an injury or an accident, if you don't have the law to back up, you're saying they weren't there, good luck. So I will highly recommend, and if you can do that, based on what you tell me tonight, I'm gonna call him as soon as I leave this meeting. And I told him, based on what I say, I'll tell him whether to cut it off, because, $552 is a lot of money to a lot of people. To pull it out of their pocket, pay that, because they don't want to see something bad happen. If you need those dollars, you're gonna need it at some point, you're gonna need it. So can you get this man his $552? He has it direct taken out of his checking account. It's a direct draft out of his. So I'm sure he can provide you whatever, proof that he's been paying this. You can get the information from him. But I don't want to see the can kicked any further. I'd like to see this put the gospel and this thing taken care of. He didn't do it selfishly. He done it because he is a loyal person. And I would like to see you take care of it.
Can't those be downloaded on this? There's a lot of information there. That's why they address Savage's IQ, and they told him what the responsibility, which I doubt that. I mean, not that they said it, but I think they need to look at what they were actually being asked to store. So
we'll look into it, we'll make it right, and, fix the problem, get some.
yes, I mean,
take it off of him, either assume the account for $23 a month, or close it down.
Yeah.
That's a decision.
Well, let's kind of look into it and find a good solution for it.
Just, he told me that it was paid through October. So he's wanting to know from me tonight whether to go ahead and call and cancel it for October 1. Like, keep it going. What do you say,
Kyle, to get involved tomorrow, you take care of it.
Well, okay, that's what I'm gonna tell him. And if nobody contacts him, just like on the 25th, you tell him to cut it off. Because he shouldn't be paying it out of his portion of money.
You can do what you want.
Yeah.
It's like,
He cuts it off. You lose those documents.
yeah, I get it.
I would work it out with him where you can transfer the account to Savage. Then you have your IT people do whatever they need to do to extract that information.
Yeah.
And they cut it.
Yeah, I mean, given that we're just being notified now, like, this.
I was notified yesterday, but it's not that your people didn't know that this was going on. I was assured that there's been conversations.
Okay, well, it's,
I mean, you gotta look at it. From his perspective, he was just trying to do the right thing. He was asking, can somebody take this from me?
Yeah.
And, half years. So, again, I hate to tell him to hold on a little longer.
so it's paid through October, right?
Pardon?
It's paid through October, essentially.
It's paid to October, yeah, through October, so November 1st it would be.
Right, yeah, let's take her.
All right, I'm gonna tell him that Kyle will be talking to him as soon as tomorrow, and we'll get this deal out. Is that what I'm understanding?
Yeah.
All right. The second thing on security, safety, whatever you want. Tell me this. When will the dock board be pulled out of it?
What?
The dock board. And that lands the gangway off of the ship on the dock board. It's a safety mechanism. It's netted. At the last news night, when I was out there the other day, I asked about the dock board because I didn't see it. And I was told it's at the bottom of the channel. So, the last summer vow, so we'll be looking at 7 days, something like that. And I asked, are they gonna get a dive and go down and hook onto it, pull it out? And they said, we were told, and I quote, it's cheaper to build a new one. I disagree with that because that dock will have to be engineered, and engineers aren't cheap. So once they drew it, then we had a fabricator build it. And for it to be at the bottom of the river is, to me, is a mind blower. I wouldn't have got it that day. Because you got silt issue from the outgoing tides. It will move. If it moves and gets out under the props, if that prop starts, especially in reverse, if you pull that dock, we'll go into that pellet. So I'm just bringing this to you because I haven't heard anything about
Looks like we've got a diverse.
it. I mean, I will go get the dock one.
Oh, I just said we got a diverse schedule.
Yeah.
For this year.
So you know about it?
Power, so.
Okay, thank you. I mean, I'm concerned when I see things happening out there and all the work, don't say anything. So, and the other thing that I question for you, when are you gonna hire some stevedores? Right now, you got 2 stevedores that are there. You got a part of Lewis who was injured. He's on light duty, and that blew my mind because in my 43 years on the waterfront, there was never light duty. So I don't know where that came from. It didn't come from the worldwide terminal stage because it had to come across my desk to approve it. We didn't approve, uh, so light duty. So
When we take care of manpower, you gotta let us take care of manpower.
I'm questioning for the safety aspects of it. I don't care what you do, but I'm saying this to you. To only have one crane operator and 2 active dockmen on that dock is dangerous.
So you gotta let us manage safety.
Yeah, well, I hope you do, because you've already got one man hurt. Real actually. Okay, you disagree with that?
And maybe you wanna talk about safety records?
Yeah, we're talking about safety records. I'm bringing this to you because I go out there and I see what's happening.
Yeah, we appreciate the input, but we manage our manpower, we manage our safety.
Well, I can tell you this,
I mean, if you got
nothing is
something,
better.
if you got something to share, put it into the balance, let us.
I hope it gets better because this is a bad scenario. I can promise you that. So I hope.
We appreciate your answer.
Appreciate it. The right time. I'm on the phone, but hopefully it will be addressed. Okay. Because when I'm out there and I'm looking around and I see people that are working, and I would be venturous to say, and you can check it with Kyle, but I guarantee you there was no supervision on that dock day. That dock.
You don't work or you're not a supervisor.
No, but I ran it for 12 years. And he didn't have people throwing dock over the river. Okay, thank you very much. So I'm gonna leave that one there and move on to the next topic, port facilities. Nothing's really been done to the warehouses. I got this text message. Or this email, crane number 9. Vendors coming to troubleshoot motor early this week. The oil motor is tripping breakers during operations. And we took it out of service to avoid damage to complete failure at the motor. Number 10. I think he alluded to it. There's an electronic problem with it. Both of the cranes are down. When I was out there and looked up at the cranes, the cables have not been greased in, I'm talking, I will say at least a year. This is very dangerous. The only crane that's up and running right now is the park. I put notes in, the next 3 vessels have ships gear, and the mobile harbor will stand by as a backup. But it will also be used as a primary on container vessel sundial. That's all I have.
Thank you, Commissioner Wilson. Councilman Updike in here? really, I think it's covered this without the issues.
Our next meeting will be November 21st
Okay. Thank you, Sam.
at Pearson, Mr. Laporte's office.
Okay, excellent. All right, we discussed Weston House, any updated regarding the Army Corps of Engineers?
Yeah, there's a meeting in November, a video meeting. And, I guess the next chairman will appoint committee people, committee commissioners, serve on committees, and whenever that happens, whenever I find out who is gonna be in charge of the Army Corps of Engineers, I'll get them the information. And I'll be in touch with, what's his name? Corps, right, Corps, and let him know who that is, and give him the phone number so we can connect up with them. Everything's going like it should.
Okay, what was the date on the video meeting?
I got it here. He said mid-November, that's all. You'd be back in touch.
I did get to participate in the Florida Inland Navigation District. River Cruise Community Outreach event.
Yeah, yeah. She's done that before once.
Okay, great. Economic development. What should you think?
Okay, we had a meeting yesterday, very well. It was at Florida Public Utilities at their conference meeting. We had a workshop at the end of our business meeting, and gentleman from the county came and discussed our lines in the future. So we did some water analysis and stuff like that. There is the investor appreciation mix. You know, we're aware of this, you're not aware. It's going to be at the Bahama at Wildlife this Thursday, that's tomorrow, from 6 to 8. There was an invitation sent out. I think we all got a copy. If you didn't, then look at it. Again, it's for the investors, for the NCED appreciation picture for us to our 30, celebrating our 30 years. And so all the investors are at attend. For any of y'all planning on what? It's tomorrow. Tomorrow, from 6 to 8.
Is it wildlife?
At Wildlife. At the time. Yes.
I will try to read it.
All right, so during our business meeting, sharing out that we have several new projects that are in the works. 3 very positive ones, nothing concrete yet, we can't talk about the details of it. But 2 of them are looking at port usage. So the good possibilities is work on, then we might have some for the port. And that's all I got on the NCPD. You go on the emergency management. All right, so we did activate the emergency management for. That's all back up here. The emergency management, you did activate the POC both times. We went into the A shift and then the shift. And the first one was, it was very quiet. We have minor damages, some limbs down, some, but nothing major. The second one, built, saw some impacts from tidal surge. So there was the evacuation order sent out, which caused the shelter to be open longer. So that played into that, but we still down the number for years at that time. But on both occasions, I was able to report with them the status of the port. With the, actually, do the status of leak, through Kyle and through, Orlando. We got that information out there, we put that information out to them. So they're appreciative of knowing what's going on when that's happening. And, at both times, we did not have ships at the port, so that was good.
Thank you. Yeah, I received a notice, from Jekyll and Beaufort, and like a week after the storm. I guess because the cell phone towers were out, all of the emergency management notices had pushed. And then when the towers were back on, notices went out late. It's really bizarre, but, it's good that you're manning stations. Appreciate your service. Next up is NPO. We did not have a meeting due to the hurricane, but we do have a meeting set for November 6th. It'll be an emergency meeting because we didn't have a meeting scheduled for that date. Where TPO will just will be the long range education plan. This is the main job of the TPO serves in our region, which is improving Adelaide-'s long range plans. This is the opportunity for the public to have voice in transportation spending. And the way they do that is by running surveys. So the surveys get gone out and then the feedback gets incorporated into those plans to incorporate. All right, technical advisory committee.
Yeah, so the meeting was on October 2nd. It was actually just after coming after Hurricane Henny. I was very busy in my private job. It was it was very busy during the hurricanes. So I wasn't able to attend, but I did get an update from the chair. We did discuss the votes, discussion for long range transportation hospital plan, for your votes, and then the TAC will not meet November. The next meeting will be December 4th with the hurricane. Everything things got shifted, and so this meeting was shifted. And then the chamber, I know they did the last meeting, I don't remember, but I know the leadership Nassau did a tour of the ports. I believe Commissioner Hill was there, Commissioner-elect Scott Moore was there for that tour. I have some friends who were part of that group who raved about how great it was, how wonderful the tour was, some sort of thing for Greg and your team for opening the gates and letting them go through with that.
Also, Virginie came to the elected officials event and Daisy was there last night with the wildlife. So very good event, and it's great to see Virginie coming out consistently. People recognize her, and she was telling me she likes to do line dancing somewhere locally, so we might actually do something like that. Yeah, she's great. Yeah, so good job, Gigi. Sorry.
No.
Yeah.
So City of Freddie Beach, don't promote, like you coming up. Keep Nassau people, I don't mean to keep Nassau people, but I do want to touch on, I went to the events online, I believe it was Friday, for St. Mary Church. They had an event at Sugar Point, it was incredible, it's a beautiful venue. They focus really on water conservation, and really improving water care. I know Chair Bill was there as well, but I wanted to give them a little bit of recognition for what they do. Very important organization. And it also kind of rolled into the, I guess, continuing with nonprofit side. Had an opportunity this past Sunday, also with Chair Hill to be a judge, a guest judge for She Nailed It. It's the benefit Nassau Habitat for Humanity and to raise money for them. It was a great term. There was a lot of people there. But it was about 29 teams, four women, to come up and we timed them every day. They paid an intern, they did an auction, silent auction, they did live auction, a few things. So it was a great event and a very busy weekend, but they do a lot of great communities. One of give them a little recognition as well.
They released, I think, was it 80?
Yeah, it was like $680,000 they raised, from that event, so it was a lot of fun.
They also received like almost $2 million grant recently, a private grant.
Yeah, right, right. And then, if I may, so I sent this to Rosanna, it's in the, meeting packet, I'm sure we've all, seen it, but coming up, November 13th is the National County Legislative Delegation. We're so to have this, obviously, it was a fair time for the prior meeting. But this is an opportunity for, organizations to present to Senator Clay Yarborough, Representative Lee Black. They do this every year. I know Richard Cole goes, I think all pretty much been there. But it's a great opportunity to kind of get in front of them and to share your concerns, feedback, any needs that we may have. I'm always asked when I see Senator or Representative, what can we do to help you, what can we do to help work? And I know when peers ask the same question. This kind of late in the game. I don't know what we can come up with, what we can, if there are any urgent needs right now to go after. Understand the maybe not necessarily monetary appropriations, but there's something that we can get to this for. That would be a great time to do that and to be in front of the things.
Well, they have a standing invitation to come to the court if it is convenient while we're here for the legislative delegation, that'd be great to be able to have them here. I think the last time it was weather and health that canceled us, so we did have them on the books to come, and if President Glover was in it up, and that would have been, that would have been awesome. But Davis said he would help to try to get them to the court. I don't think we've had them out since they're going to office. I know we're the little board in their district, but would be nice. Okay, awesome. Lots to report. Okay, any other items to report?
The only thing I've heard from the community is about our ability to broadcast our meetings and how fully it's done. We've talked about it before. I don't know what can be done about it. I tell them mainly it's because of the building we're in. But in the future, you might want to think about investigating the possibility of upgrade. I don't know what we could do or what you could do, but I think there's something you can do. The microphone that you use is very clear for some reason. I guess it's because you're right there. Yeah. So, but everybody else is kind of muffled. You see all right, but it's all muffled. Maybe you could take care of that. You're asking for other items? Have you brought up or?
I think next up is the administrative officer.
My report is in the packet, and Madam Chair, if I may, just confirm something. For the supervisor of election, Mr. Commissioner-elect Moore's term starts November 19th. So I would like to still invite Commissioner Fullwood to attend the November 13th meeting. And then Commissioner-elect Moore's first day will be December 4th. Yeah, but OPA has a plaque for you, and we'll present it at the November 13th meeting. Yes, because Commissioner-elect Moore cannot start before November 19th.
Okay. I think if that's what you like.
Okay.
And when are you gonna, so
Yep.
you can't start until 19th?
Right.
So
Yeah, November
the first meeting will be 27th.
So we don't have a meeting.
We don't have, Yeah.
So, let's-
Thanksgiving.
Oh, yeah. So what if we got 11 more? Okay. If you want to be here, I can.
Yeah, for some reason I thought that she couldn't be here, so it was in a different. Friday.
Yeah, well,
Cause you had said this was gonna be your last meeting, so.
it was
But-
confusing.
The
It was
election
confusing.
for next meeting.
It is, but you can't take office until after. It's the Tuesday after.
2 weeks. 2 weeks, yeah. 2 weeks after the election,
Okay,
after the general election.
I'll wait and get my speech in.
Okay,
Are you ready?
any other items for the good of the order?
Always, sure, but